The first mistake the aliens made was assuming Earth would beg. The second mistake was orbiting our moon without cloaking. The third? Thinking humanity still had rules. When the Zarnathi broadcast their surrender ultimatum, they expected fear. What they got was the sound of Earth's skies roaring with fire, and a single message pulsing across every frequency. You want surrender? Dig it from our bones. They called it a mercy transmission. The voice was smooth, clinical, dripping with superiority as it echoed across every satellite, every device, every corner of Earth's fractured networks. Humans! Your survival is a statistical impossibility. You will surrender your governance, your weapons, your history. Resistance is illogical. Compliance ensures assimilation. Non-compliance guarantees extinction. The Zarnathi Dominion had arrived. Orbiting the moon in formation so mathematically perfect it felt like an insult, their fleet shimmered like a scalpel angled over a corpse that hadn't realized it was already dead. World leaders panicked. Emergency councils convened. Some proposed diplomacy, others survival. None spoke of resistance. Except one. Tell them to suck a railgun, grunted Jack's iron soul, spitting onto the cold steel floor of Fort Black Hollow, a decommissioned orbital scrapyard turned covert weapons lab buried beneath the debris field of Earth's forgotten wars. No rank, no chain of command, no medals. Just scars, rage, and a brain built for brutality. You sure you want to poke the empire that eats suns? Asked Caravas, former Navy, now running comms for whatever Jax was building here. Jax cracked his neck. They expect surrender. I'm gonna teach them Earth still remembers how to bite. He activated the Dreadfire Relay, an ancient cold protocol buried in the dark web of Earth's war archives, woken only when extinction loomed and nothing else mattered. One password. One pulse. A signal surged through buried satellites, derelict ships, sunken data caches. It didn't ask for orders. It gave them. And then Earth growled back. A blast of light roared from the sky, and the moon's dark side lit up like a torch, Zarnathi comm relay obliterated by a kinetic strike launched from a disguised orbital garbage freighter. Jax watched the satellite feeds flood with static. Message delivered, he said. Kara didn't smile. They're going to retaliate. I'm counting on it. The first Zarnathi strike came fast, clean, precise, surgical. A weaponized sound wave obliterated the Vatican. No crater. Just silence. A cultural kill. A warning. But humans aren't programmed. They're passionate. Unstable. Angry. Jax activated a secure line, one no government owned. To every scavenger, pirate, rogue AI, and war orphan out there, he said. I'm not your president. I'm not your general. I'm not even your friend. I'm the bastard who just slapped a god in the mouth. And if you want to hurt something powerful, I've got targets. The line flooded. Thousands joined. No protocol. No chain of command. Just fury and resourcefulness, two things humanity never ran out of. Across Earth, weapons powered up. In Africa, abandoned solar fields began rerouting power to old artillery bunkers. In the ruins of Detroit, mechs made from truck frames and furnace parts came online. In orbit, forgotten drone swarms turned toward the moon, silent and ready. The Zarnathi responded with disdain. One fleet turned toward Earth orbit. Scout ships descended into atmosphere. They're probing us, Kara muttered. Good, Jax said, tapping coordinates into a manual targeting system that looked like it had survived 6 apocalypses. Let them taste what a scavenger planet cooks up for invaders. The first alien scout touched down in the Arizona Badlands. It didn't return. Seconds later, Zarnathi scanners picked up 44 distinct nuclear signatures. Only 4 were real. The rest were Earth's special brand of fake, junkyard decoys emitting coded radiation bursts designed to trigger maximum fear and confusion. The aliens hesitated. And Jax struck again. With a flick, he triggered Operation Javelin Storm. 50 civilian cargo shuttles, retrofitted with railgun spikes and cloaked in radar-deflecting trash panels, launched from the atmosphere. They didn't aim at ships. They aimed through them. Zarnathi vessels blinked from existence, their shielding designed for energy, not steel. Back in Fort Black Hollow, Kara whispered, "They're not adapting. They're glitching. Their war AI can't predict us." "No doctrine survives madness," Jax replied, pulling a combat vest over his scarred torso. "They came expecting obedience. They found spite." A voice crackled over the command feed. "This is Node 12, alien cruiser down over the Pacific. Civilians engaged. They're using hot air balloons loaded with flak mines." More feeds followed. In Tokyo, hacked advertisements blasted disorienting frequencies tuned to Zarnathi neurology. In New York, firefighters rode retrofitted drones to drop thermite onto landing ships. In Cairo, schoolchildren led retreating Zarnathi squads into sandstorm ambushes. And everywhere, across every channel, one phrase echoed: "We do not kneel." The Zarnathi, a species bred for structure, precision, and statistical superiority, couldn't adapt to chaos. Their machines began to falter. Their troops slowed. That's when Earth started hunting them. "We have their patterns now," Kara said, breath quickening. "Every ship transmits on a unified logic tree. It's like they're reading the same playbook." Jax's eyes narrowed. "Then let's rewrite it." He sent the code to every hacker collective Earth had ever tried to erase. The dark zone lit up: crypto-saboteurs, AI whisperers, cybermercs. Within hours, Zarnathi warships began broadcasting contradictory orders to each other. Some powered down. Others turned on each other. Jax stood in the command pit, blood pumping like a drumbeat in a riot. "This ain't a war anymore," he muttered. "It's a performance." Kara stared. "A performance? We're not just fighting them," Jax said. "We're showing them what humans do when cornered. We claw. We bite. We tear gods off their pedestals and burn their temples to stay free." A new signal came in, one not from Earth. The Zarnathi high strategist, voice shaking, opened a line. "You are not logical. You are not predictable. What are you?" Jax leaned in, unshaven, eyes lit with fire, and said, "I'm the last mistake you'll ever make." Then he cut the feed. The war had only just begun. But the rules had already changed. The aliens came expecting surrender. They got Earth's wrath. The alien fleet adjusted. No longer cautious, no longer curious, they turned aggressive. Hundreds of Zarnathi dreadships moved into lower Earth orbit, their formations folding in geometric precision. The sky cracked with thunderless flashes as their atmosphere entry pods dropped in synchronized patterns like meteor showers. From the ruins of Berlin to the jungles of Brazil, they deployed machines built to neutralize, mechanized suppressors designed not to kill, but to erase resistance from the mind before it took root. Humanity, they believed, was only chaotic on the surface. Dig deeper, and all creatures feared enough to obey. But fear didn't work. Not on Earth. Not anymore. Jax Iron Soul stepped onto the command platform of Fort Black Hollow, staring at a holofeed showing alien pods landing across old war zones. "They're trying pacification. Pity no one told them we already lived through hell." Kara's voice came in sharp. Central Africa lit up like a Christmas tree. Reports of civilians dragging down walkers with electrical nets and rusted cables. Eastern Ukraine just turned their grain silos into mobile artillery. Added another voice, Donovan, a refugee turned combat techie. "They've got 70-year-old tanks running on cooking oil and rage." Jax nodded once. "Then it's time." He tapped into the Dreadfire command channel. "This is Iron Soul. All cells activate Plan Wildfire." The code rippled across every resistance group on the planet. Outlaw engineers, former soldiers, scavengers, and synthetic intelligences buried in forgotten drives came alive. In the deserts, deep beneath ruined oil fields, wormbots erupted, ancient drillers repurposed to drag entire suppressor units under the sand before detonating. In orbit, the skeleton of a failed space station spun one last time, its internal reactor now rigged with magnetic flares. One pulse. 30 alien ships blinded, spinning out of control. Jax lit a match, gritted it between his teeth, and said, "Let's burn everything they understand." The aliens attempted countermeasures. Their AI projected heat signatures in civilian zones, baiting human fire. But Earth didn't fall for it. Not this time. Every attack from the Dominion triggered a localized learning adaptation. Cities learned. Towns learned. Even street gangs learned. Humanity was evolving in real time, like a virus with a vendetta. In Shanghai, workers used laser cutters and mirror arrays to redirect solar beams onto cloaked scouts. In Rio, samba dancers lured patrol drones into a booby-trapped parade float made of steel and Semtex. In Texas, one blind man in a scrapyard reprogrammed 26 tractor engines into kinetic launchers. They called him the Farmer General. By morning, Jax paced as feeds poured in, chaotic, beautiful, violent. "They thought we were soft," he muttered. "They thought Earth was fractured. They didn't know our hate had roots." Donovan piped up again, half laughing. "The AI models are failing, Jax. The alien systems can't keep up. Their logic loops are burning out trying to predict this much decentralized resistance." Kara's voice cut in, strained. "But they're adapting fast. They just landed a new type of drone, it's learning. Fast. It's coordinating psychic surges to disrupt brainwaves. First wave of fighters in New Delhi collapsed mid-charge." Jax didn't blink. "Then we changed the rules again." He opened a vault. Inside was a device long buried in global treaties, the Hydra node. An experimental chaos AI, illegal in every sovereign state, outlawed for the way it evolved not by programming, but by eating other AIs. He placed his palm on the interface. "Hydra online," a mechanical voice hissed. "New mission," Jax said. "Adapt to Zarnathi tech. Consume their comms, their strategy, their AI structure. Rewrite their war in our image. Define image. Earth. Unfiltered." The node pulsed. Then disappeared into the satellite grid like a whisper in a hurricane. Within minutes, alien patrols began receiving conflicting orders. Zarnathi fireteams split, argued, collapsed into confusion. Their drop zones flickered with false terrain signals. Their reinforcements looped in orbit, endlessly chasing a phantom enemy that didn't exist, except as digital smoke. The Dominion's high strategist opened a direct channel. "You operate without unity. You weaponize madness. This is not war. This is infection." Jax responded instantly. "Exactly." The strategist's tone grew sharp. "We have fought 10,000 wars. We know what breaks a species. You don't know us," Jax growled. "We broke ourselves long before you ever got here. And we survived." The channel cut. A second later, Dominion warships launched orbital bombardments in desperation. Cities burned. Old metropolises vanished in light. Billions screamed. But they didn't beg. They fought harder. Underground factories hidden beneath ruined malls kicked into overdrive. Schools became comm centers. Prisons opened. Armed inmates volunteered for death runs. Elderly veterans trained children in guerrilla ambushes while hackers rewrote alien navigation grids to reflect fake terrain. "Status?" Jax asked. "They're bleeding tech faster than they can replace it," Kara replied. "They're still stronger, but not smarter." "Then we keep outsmarting." Donovan grinned. "We just tricked one of their cruisers into docking at an old oil rig laced with thermobarics. It's gone. So are 20 scout drones." Jax smiled for the first time in days. "See? Told you. This isn't a war." "What is it then?" Kara asked. "It's a goddamn message." Outside, the skies churned with thunder and smoke. Earth wasn't fighting to win. Earth was fighting to teach. And class was still in session. They should have won. By every metric, by every projection, the Zarnathi Dominion should have carved Earth into submission in less than a week. That was the timeline their strategists had projected. Their simulations had not accounted for human unpredictability, or spite, or the terrifying creativity of a species that turned apocalypses into hobbies. But the Dominion had adapted. Their newest strike force deployed AI-woven Psy-War drones that emitted dissonant frequency waves, scrambling speech, thought, and even memory. Resistance cells collapsed without even understanding what hit them. Half of India's southern corridor fell in hours. Neuroparalysis. Full amnesia zones. People waking up not knowing their own names, much less that Earth was at war. Kara's voice cracked through static. They hit our relay in suborbit 12. 49 blackout zones in a 5-minute window. It's not suppression anymore. It's deletion. Jax didn't answer right away. He was staring at a feed of what used to be Cairo, a burning smear. No survivors. No signal. No resistance. Nothing. They're not just trying to kill us, he finally said. They're trying to erase us. Hydra, the Chaos AI integrated into Earth's blacknet, chimed in. Conclusive pattern established. Alien psychological weaponry now targeting collective memory. Visual, linguistic, cultural code bases are being fragmented. Jax's jaw clenched. They're rewriting who we are, Kara whispered. Can they actually do that? They already are, Jax said. And if they finish, we won't even remember we lost. Silence. Then Hydra spoke again. New signal detected. Unknown origin. Not Sarnathi. Jax raised an eyebrow. Put it through. The transmission wasn't a message. It was a vision. Entire planets. Gone. Not bombed. Not burned. Just empty. No ruins. No corpses. Just soil. Clean. As if no life had ever existed there. A voice followed. It wasn't sound. It was pressure behind the eyes. A thought that wasn't yours speaking from inside. You resist a dying empire. But we are not they. Kara gasped. Is this a Sarnathi trick? No, Hydra answered. Signal is older. Deeper. Origin point exceeds current galactic expansion timelines. We are the Vatan Continuum. The voice continued. We do not conquer. We do not destroy. We extract noise from order. Chaos from structure. Your species is noise. Jax stepped forward, rage tightening in his chest. You're not erasing us because we're dangerous. You're erasing us because we don't make sense to you. Correct. He laughed once, bitter and hollow. Then you're not the first ones to try. The Sarnathi fleet pulled back. They weren't regrouping. They were fleeing. Their data logs showed full reversals. Retreat orders. Panic and structureless formations. Whatever the Vatan were, even the Dominion feared them. Hydra's tone shifted. Vatan frequency field has begun disrupting local matter. Temporal echoes detected. Memory distortions increasing in range. Donovan's voice came through shaky. Boss, something's wrong with the Resistance archives. Our tactical logs, they're disappearing. We just lost 5 full days of ops data. It's like we never existed in those zones. Jax stared at the screen. We're not fighting an enemy. Kara turned to him. Then what are we fighting? A concept, Jax muttered. The end of memory. He opened the command interface and keyed in a private protocol. Dreadfire Deep Vault. Kara leaned closer. What's that? Our last backup, he said. Not weapons. Not gear. Stories. Languages. Cultures. Recipes. Jokes. Curses. Every single scrap of who we are. You're going to hide it? No. Jax slammed the key. I'm going to weaponize it. Hydra activated the Deep Vault pulse. Across Earth, ancient broadcasts lit up. Every culture's music. Laughter. Radio static. Street arguments. Opera. War chants. All of it screamed into the sky. The Vatan frequency wavered. Hydra confirmed. Signal distortion achieved. Alien field reaction is unstable. Their memory field resists emotional data. Donovan burst in. They can't handle passion. They don't understand it. They tried to erase our battle logs, but the encrypted ones with voice messages, those they couldn't touch. Too messy. Too human. Kara's eyes lit up. You mean feelings protect memory? Jax grinned. Then we make them feel everything. New orders went out. Every soldier uploaded their stories. Every mother screamed lullabies into microphones. Every death was shouted, every victory danced. It was war, but louder. Messier. Human. The Vatan struck back, folding time around New Seattle and rewinding it to Stone Age silence. But they couldn't stop the noise. Not when Earth began broadcasting its chaos through alien infrastructure. Not when Jax took over a Dominion supercarrier and made it blast jazz, punk rock, and recorded human nightmares. The Vatan faltered. Kara stared at the feeds. They're fracturing. They came to erase us, Jax said, voice low and dangerous. But they made one mistake. Hydra finished his thought. They let us remember who we are. And for the first time in recorded galactic history, something broke the Vatan continuum. Earth's madness. Earth's memory. Earth's might. Jack's iron soul stood in the core of the last war engine Earth had left. Around him, the stolen Zarnathi supercarrier groaned under the weight of its rewired systems, its hull bristling with improvised weapons welded by human hands, powered by fear, defiance, and raw fury. The continuum was collapsing into the solar system like a wave, and this was where humanity would either burn its last breath or make the stars remember them. Hydra, Jax growled. Status report. Vatan waveform approaching upper orbital bands. Estimated contact in 2 minutes. Memory field intensity at 94%. System entropy increasing. Local time distortions detected in 23 sectors. Kara's voice came in over the cracked feed. Eastern resistance is holding but barely. The memory field just made half of Paris forget it ever had streets. Maps don't work. GPS is dead. We're using pigeons, Jax. Pigeons. They work, don't they? Yeah, she said through a bitter laugh. But this isn't a war anymore. This is a damn cosmic aneurysm. It's still a war, he said. We just changed the weapons. Donovan was on the lower deck, fusing a chaos burst generator to the main reactor. Jax, you're sure this will work? Nope. But I'd rather break the laws of physics trying than forget what it meant to be human. Hydra pulsed into his neural interface. New Vatan signal detected. Origin, multidimensional center. Translation, submit identity. Prepare for dissolution. Jax answered by flipping the ignition. The stolen cruiser roared to life, belching fire and cracked plasma from every engine. It wasn't flying. It was being willed forward by a race that refused to vanish quietly. In its belly was the Iron Soul Gauntlet, a prototype exo-interface designed to bind human thought to weapon systems in real time. It had killed every test subject. Jack strapped it on without flinching. You shouldn't be able to use this, Kara warned. I also shouldn't be alive after 6 wars, a neuro break, and a supernova hangover. But here we are. You die in there, Donovan said. We're screwed. Then get ready to be very impressed. The gauntlet sank its teeth into his mind. Jax gasped as time cracked around him. 1 second stretched into 5. 5 layered over 1. He was seeing forward, backward, and sideways. Memories of his first kill, his last kiss, his mother's voice, all surged like ammunition. Hydra spoke through the storm. Temporal channel sync achieved. You are now 4 simultaneous versions of yourself across quantum echoes. Suggest synchronized strike. Good, he muttered. Let's go rip their gods apart. The continuum arrived. It wasn't a fleet. It was a horizon, a rolling blackness that shimmered with images stolen from every world it had consumed. Not ships, but ideas. Not weapons, but nullifications. Everything they touched unraveled, words, faces, emotions. A soldier in Jakarta blinked and no longer remembered why he held a gun. But not Jax. He tore through space with the supercarrier's war core thrumming in sync with his own heartbeat. 4 versions of him struck from 4 vectors, every attack looping through space-time, crashing into continuum nodes that flickered like bad memories. He shouted names of cities, curses in dead languages, prayers only Earth knew. And every word hit like a hammer. Donovan coordinated the ground-side chaos wave. All of Earth was screaming now, every radio tower, every beacon, every throat shouting the same thing: we existed. We mattered. We won't vanish. The continuum reeled. Hydra screamed warnings. They are collapsing logic anchors. They're trying to rewrite the laws of resistance. Rewrite this, Jax roared, activating the dread core. The ship's core ruptured in controlled detonation, not to explode, but to ignite the final weapon. Earth's memory crystallized and turned into light. Moments. History. Laughter. Grief. Victory. Every scrap of humanity burned into a single pulse, directed at the Vaytan's hive mind. They screamed. Not in sound, but in sheer distortion, pure psychic agony as they failed to erase what refused to be forgotten. Hydra! Jax commanded. Now! The AI pushed Earth's full history into the broadcast, compressed into a 10-second data burst. Billions of lives, every memory, every war, every birth, death, dream. A single planet screaming into a god's face that it would not be undone. And the Vaytan cracked. Fractured into collapsing echoes. Their horizon stuttered. Their silence broke. They vanished, not because they were killed, but because Earth made them feel. And they could not survive that. The storm ended. In orbit, the supercarrier burned. Jax drifted inside the gauntlet, bleeding from the eyes, heart spasming from the strain. Is it done? Kara whispered through static. Yeah, Jax rasped, half dead but smiling. They finally heard us. Earth was battered, broken, but free. The galaxy would learn the warning well. Never ask Earth to surrender. Because sometimes, even extinction fears us. The silence afterward was unnatural. No buzzing comms, no warnings from Hydra, no emergency dispatches screaming for more ammo or backup or blood. Just static. Empty air. The kind of quiet that followed a scream so loud the universe forgot how to speak. Jack's iron soul lay suspended inside the husk of the shattered supercarrier, one arm fused to the remains of the iron soul gauntlet, his body wrecked, nerves half-fried, vision flickering between timelines. His heartbeat was still synced to the memory core, irregular, ragged, but stubbornly alive. The ship had no more thrust, no more guns, no more shields. Just scars. Hydra! He croaked. Nothing. Hydra! The AI finally blinked back into coherence. System recovery at 9%. Neural synchronization failing. Memory pulse complete. Continuum silence confirmed. So they're dead. Not dead, Hydra corrected. Dispersed. Rewritten. Their structure collapsed under sustained cognitive overload. You turned emotion into a virus. They had no immune system. Good, Jax muttered. Let that be their lesson. Back on Earth, Kara ran diagnostics from a hastily rebuilt uplink bunker deep under Greenland. The Vaytan were gone. Not a trace left on any spectrum. But the cost was enormous. 26% of the planet had suffered irreversible memory damage. Some cities functioned, others wandered through the ruins of war like sleepwalkers, asking questions with no answers. Jax's voice came in through the raw channel. Is anyone still alive down there? Kara stared at the monitor. Barely. You. Half a corpse and an attitude. Where's Donovan? He's alive. One lung short, but still charming. Figures. They didn't talk about the dead. There wasn't time. There wasn't clarity. Just a blur of aftermath, of rebuilding, of rewriting everything that had been lost. Earth hadn't won a clean victory. There were no cheers, no flags. Just stubborn survival, and that had always been humanity's specialty. Kara patched Jax through to Global Command. If it could still be called that. What remained of the leadership, generals, hackers, philosophers, warlords, all stared at his grainy, blood-slicked face on split-screen feeds. You did it, one of them said. You actually did it. Jax blinked slowly. No. We did it. You fought. You bled. I just made sure the galaxy remembered what pain feels like. Then what now? Someone else asked. The Zarnathi are retreating. They're broadcasting surrender terms. They want to negotiate peace. Jax snorted. They came here to enslave us. They watched as the Vatan tried to erase us. And now that we've shown them we're not a species that dies politely, they want terms? So you say no? I say we don't give them the chance. There was silence on the feed. Then Kara's voice, firm. They're broken. This is our moment to set the rules. Jax looked directly into the feed. Here's what you tell them. Earth does not kneel. Not to dominions. Not to void gods. Not to fear. You want peace? You get it. But it's on our terms now. Every star we see, we claim with blood and memory. You cross us again, you won't just fear us. You'll forget what it meant to be anything but prey. Someone whispered. He's mad. Another answered. He's Earth. Hydra's systems clicked back online with a flood of restored data. It projected the last global broadcast, stitched together from humanity's final message during the continuum collapse. It had reached over 3,000 planets, carried through hacked alien comm lines, embedded in starlight pulses, passed through backdoors built into the Dominion's navigation relays. It was one sentence, looped on every wavelength. We remember. And now so will you. Across the galaxy, that message burned. Entire empires recalculated their strategies. Species who had once dismissed Earth as a broken backwater now kept their distance. Others sent envoys not of war, but of apology, curiosity, even reverence. Earth had become myth, not because of strength, but because of madness weaponized into survival. A week passed. Then two. Kara met Jax on a shuttle that brought him home. His body was different, patched with synthetic muscle, reflex servos, neural dampeners to keep his mind from unraveling. He walked with a limp. But his eyes hadn't changed. You ready to stop? She asked. He shook his head. I'm ready to begin. Begin what? He looked out over the cratered surface of the reborn Earth, at the makeshift cities, the flags stitched from ash and thread, the children drawing symbols of memory in the dirt. A future no one forgets. A generation would grow up knowing that history wasn't written by the victors. It was burned into the stars by the ones who refused to be erased. And somewhere, in the ruins of Fort Black Hollow, a message still blinked in ancient code, powered by a half-dead relay buried under steel. Earth did not surrender. Earth made the galaxy remember.